And we're back.
Huzzah.
So, another evening comes to a close, and the next day comes around. What are your plans?
Final day. 12 hours remain.
Dawn of the final day.
Well, at least you get your fine clothing before.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, when can we pick up our clothes? They probably would have told us at the fitting, right?
Yeah, probably in the afternoon.
Yeah. Although that is like a whole new level, like not just buying new clothes for the day, just having new ones made.
Yup. That's how you know they're fancy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, does anyone want to do anything particularly in the morning?
Nothing noteworthy. Help Kelariis out with more
Yeah.
paperwork or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kelariis disappears off to go and do things, so you're welcome to tag along.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they still need more help, then might as well help them out
Yep.
for the morning.
Sure. Yeah, so I'll say you guys spend the morning sorting your stuff out.
See if there's a drow spa facility.
Spa facility?
Oh, that would be nice.
I mean, yeah,
Holiday.
there are definitely places you can go to get washed, have
Arya would like a bath.
Oh yeah, let's have a spa day.
Okay. So how hard do you want to go on this?
Oh, well, like I guess.
I mean, I assume Grim and Elizabeth just like want a bath, but
Well, I had in mind that like I felt like there might be some local, like more local style things, not as in like locally done, but like local customs for spas or whatever. Like I don't know, like maybe they mud or whatever. Like
I
mudding
mean,
or
if there is any race that takes particular care of its skin, it is probably the drow, and doubly so the drow who live on the surface.
Yeah. I guess I just try whatever.
Okay.
Whatever weird thing I can find that probably won't mess me up.
Okay. They definitely have some weird thing where you put your feet in a fish tank.
Oh.
Ah.
And they
Oh,
eat
yeah,
off all the
classic.
dead little skin. Ew.
But,
Tickles.
Elizabeth is not as experimental. She just probably wants either a bath or some sort of hot tub or steam room to just sit in for a bit and be like, ah.
Yep. Yeah, you can do that.
But she's probably very, very embarrassed by the public setting.
You can probably pay to have a more private setup. There are public baths, but there are also probably private ones.
Yeah, not gonna pay extra.
Yeah, sure.
She's pointless. She'll deal with a little embarrassment, but paying extra, no.
Yeah.
I've got to save that money for buying magic shit.
It's not that expensive.
Yeah. Kelariis is just like, point me to the water and soap.
Look, if you look after your coppers, the gold will look after itself.
Yeah, but if you don't look after yourself, then there won't be anybody looking after the coppers, now will there?
I am looking after myself. I'm having a more indulgent than normal bath.
Hmm.
I don't need skincare if my skin is mostly hidden by my robes. And or whatever other clothes I happen to be wearing.
Ah,
no one's
but
gonna
you
see it
see-
anyway.
But what if you find the love of your life?
Well then
and
maybe I
suddenly-
take better care of my skin, but until then.
Also, as somebody who does not have the love of their life and phenomenal problems with dry skin, no, it really does matter.
Yeah, it really does. Taking care of your
Yeah.
skin is important regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, my skin's usually fine, so. Besides, Elizabeth has a different selling point on that, and that is the pretty swirls.
That's fair.
She's got the pretty patterns all over her skin. That's the selling point.
Arya has pretty patterns too. They're called scars.
Wow.
I mean, scars are pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I thought you were going to talk
Yeah,
about the
Arya's got-
paint, but sure.
Well, the
Yeah.
woad, yeah.
The
But it's just on her face,
Wait.
really.
Will you wear woad to a date?
I don't ever
Yeah.
not wear it, so
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
guess like, it would make sense,
Well-
wouldn't
It's
it?
standard attire.
She wears it so much that even if she does wash off what she has on her face, her skin will still be like stained for at
Yeah.
least weeks afterwards. Oh,
because
excuse
it's
me.
quite a potent dye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're going on a date, we should, in fact, like jazz it up a little bit.
None of you know that she's going on a date.
Yeah,
but-
I have not told any of you.
Nope.
So
No,
shut
I
up.
know, that's why I'm not suggesting this in character, but like out of character, if you're doing it, do like some little flowers.
No, can you imagine if Arya rolls up with flowers on her fucking face? Jhaldrym's like,
Yeah.
you've lost your damn mind.
Just like
Yep.
a tiny flower, like under your eye or something.
Nah, no.
I heart you.
So,
God.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
everybody is getting like washed and like cleaned as much as they want. Grim is going a little bit crazy and sort of trying some more experimental things and generally just yeah, I guess yeah. It's that one episode of Parks and Rec where they're just like, treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, we've had the spa episode, guys.
We've had several
Huh?
of those.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
I know.
Clarence and I had our own small episode.
Yeah.
when
We
we
Yeah.
were
had another
God.
spa episode.
Or, well, not a god.
You had a hot springs episode in the fucking Shadowfell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yep.
Still know how you managed to do that one,
What-
but
What fan servicey like episodes are we missing? We've done the beach.
Yeah, we've done beach, we've done hot springs,
We've done the spa. We've done the hot springs.
we've done Valentine's Day.
we haven't done a ski
We
trip.
have done Valentine's Day. We have done a
ski
ski
trip.
trip.
Yeah, ski trip.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we haven't been like. Oh, there's also the one where you get locked in together.
Oh yeah, we have
Yes.
done 7 minutes of heaven. Oh, do that with Jhaldrym.
Arya's just like, please leave me alone.
We maneuver to get Jhaldrym and Arya locked in a small space for 7 minutes.
I mean, I would probably be able to get out unless
Yep.
you used magic, and in which case that would be a problem.
Oh yeah, no, we'll put your arcane lock on that door.
Damn it.
I know you can pick locks. We're not letting you
Yep.
sneak out of that. That's against the rules of 7 minutes of heaven. You're supposed to stay in there.
It's just I'm now just visualizing like the doors closed and just in pitch black, just like, where are your hands going? I'm reaching for the thieves' tools. Good idea.
The fact that we both have dark vision would make that even less sexy because we could both perfectly see what's going on.
Yep.
Well, you can't perfectly. You can only see in black and white.
Anyway,
Well, yeah,
Well-
but still.
Well, like you know, the two of them are basically black and whites.
Wow.
Yeah.
moving on.
Actually, Aya's got plenty of blue on her face.
Yeah.
So,
Do you ever consider it weird that woad is a blue dye but a yellow flower?
yes.
Yeah, it is weird, but
Moving onwards.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah, I guess if you're just getting washed, then I guess maybe deduct a silver
okay.
for all of the amenities and luxuries. Grim, go ahead and deduct me probably about 3 silver.
Sounds fair enough.
And yeah, you they expose you to all sorts of like things like mud treatments. Obviously there's a lot of volcanic rock in the region, so there's all sorts of exfoliating products.
Stones.
And
My
yeah.
son's gonna be like,
there's a part where they like put your feet in a fish tank and like somebody like files your nails and you're just like, yeah, no, I'm enjoying this.
It's been so long since I've had my nails done IRL, and I miss it. That just made me really miss getting a pedicure.
Oh.
Oh, sad face.
That is
Anyway.
one thing I'm kind of looking forward to post-transition, not gonna lie.
Dude,
could only-
pedicures are the best. They make you feel so much better about your life.
I've already said that next time I see my partner, I'm like, can we make it a sleepover, and can you paint my nails?
like, there's no reason why you have to wait to getting a pedicure.
Yeah, well,
Well-
the virus.
Well,
well, I guess
that, but
that
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Anyway.
I was
was-
thinking more. I was thinking more the body dysphoria, but you know,
Oh well.
That might help.
I'm thinking more the really judgmental looks that I would inevitably get as a guy walking in there.
Actually,
they-
more guys get pedicures than you'd think.
Yeah.
I know, but still.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
Back in the game.
Yeah.
So everyone go deduct your a few silver pieces to have your evening out, or like morning out, I guess. Then in the afternoon, I guess you guys pick up your clothes. Does anyone want to describe what you think your new set of clothes would look like?
See, I spent a little bit of time looking for references, couldn't find anything I like, and then was just sticking around to Final Fantasy and went, actually, hang on.
All right, okay.
There's a thing in this game that's perfect, so... And I happen to have the items, so I actually took screenshots.
Okay.
Because I'm that ridiculous. I will go and get them.
So while you do that, anyone else? Any ideas of what you want to look like?
Like I
Arya would not go for a dress. I was thinking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I think she'd probably go for like some nice like pants and I was almost thinking like a suit sort of
Hmm.
thing. More along the lines of like a nice pants and jacket.
Yeah. So yeah, fine trousers, nice tunic.
Yeah.
for some reason I just imagine a top.
Hell yeah.
Full tux. But does she have tails? That's the real question.
No.
Ah,
No tails.
damn.
That would be silly.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. So Arya goes for like formal tunic and trousers. What about Grim?
I feel like Grim has like I have like formal clothing, like, but like I think I was looking for something a little more extravagant or a little more over the top in that in a sense.
A leotard.
Oh my god.
I haven't quite figured out what it would look like, but
Well, I will
Something
say, likely here, one of the styles on display that may be of interest to Grim is
Oh, yes.
formal military wear.
I
Oh, shit.
guess I might. Yeah, I should maybe work on that, shouldn't I? Actually, that would make sense because I have formal clothing, but not military.
Yeah.
Or at least not nothing of note.
So, something befitting a general of a company. Well, not a general, but you know what I mean. A leader of a company.
Here's
I know
a
it-
general.
Like
Sure.
I imagine he has, just because he can, he has like a what's that thing called? Like it's kind of like a cape, but not quite a cape thing.
Oh, it's
Oh,
just
like-
like the one shoulder.
Yeah, that thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Does it have? Does it have? It probably has Amber Eagle insignia somewhere on it, right?
Like right on
I-
the shoulder where it connects. Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
little bit like a larger like connection, which with the emblem on it.
Yeah, like across the one shoulder with a almost like a brooch pin or something with it on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 like
something
on,
like that.
The front of like on the outside of like a front pocket or something.
that. Mm.
Yeah, like
Like,
that.
just
That would be
head.
nice.
Yeah, so like a major's sort of dress. Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so Grim has a set of formal military attire in the Amber Eagle setup.
Yes.
Elizabeth goes with you've got a sort of a
Yeah, it's like a long dress. There's almost like a fancy jacket over it.
Yep.
And then slightly higher heeled boots than she's used to.
yeah, you like teeter around a little bit for a
Meh.
while.
Yeah, she's got a bit of a heel and she's not used to that.
Yeah, and I will let Kelariis decide what hers look like. But yeah, you come out of it looking a lot more looking the part of striding through the streets of the richer areas of the city districts now.
The second Victoria gets outside the shop, she does a twirl.
Elizabeth.
Sorry. Yeah, the second Elizabeth gets outside the shop, twirl. Bam. Look, shut up. Yeah, the second she gets out the shop, just twirl.
Yep. You twirl.
I can imagine that works pretty well
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
the blue skin as well.
yeah. Twirl, childish giggle, the whole works.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, what do you want to do with the rest of your afternoon?
Sweat.
Gonna stalk Arya for the rest of the day. No.
Wow, that's really creepy. Yeah, Elizabeth was gonna go to that fancy drinks place again, but she just did that the night before. So does she want to do it again? That's the real question.
Well, if you're ever gonna keep on going out, might as well do it whilst you've got time off, right?
Yeah, and she does have a fancy new dress.
Yeah.
Rather than just her scholarly robes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it certainly will turn a lot more heads than your normal
Yeah.
attire.
Yeah, she was definitely gonna go back there then.
So yeah, you are heading for drinks. I guess. Do you invite everyone else?
I mean, yeah, I guess she probably would. Just
Okay.
as like, hey, we have nice new clothes. Does anyone want to go back to that place now that we've got nice new fancy clothes?
Well, as long as you don't get them dirty.
I don't plan to.
We can go out. Maybe we can try our luck out there.
Shoot your shot, Grim.
Yeah. At which point she'll just go, Kelariis? Arya?
I won't be joining you tonight.
Fair enough.
I think Kelariis just sort of like gives you a look, Arya, that just sort of says like, "You good?"
I'm like, I'm good.
Okay.
I look decidedly nervous, but you know.
Okay. Yeah. She receives the look back and just sort of says, "Sure, why not?"
Elizabeth's now just giving like Arya a weird look.
Arya is pointedly
Just a look of,
ignoring
like,
it.
It's like a look of I wasn't suspicious until I just saw that.
And now I
Don't
am
be
suspicious.
And now I am suspicious. Yeah, because Arya turning down a chance to go out is just Arya being like, no, I'd rather stay home with Lyra. And so she was about to be like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But then that happened, and now she's like,
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So yeah, the three of you split off towards the Matron's Trove.
I will find an excuse to dance,
Okay.
even if she's not very good at it.
We will come back to that, I think, because presumably Arya, you wait until dusk, or at least just before.
Yeah.
Gotta get there early.
So yeah, you arrive in front of the Domator Manor. What are you doing?
I guess there's no way to the gardens from the front.
Not
without
directly,
waiting time.
no.
Yeah. Okay. Guess I knock on the door.
Okay. Yeah, it's sort of like you knock on the. Do you go to like the business entrance or like the main house door?
I guess the one I've been to before.
Okay, so the business one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see like the door is like pulled open by someone on the other side. You see a drow woman that you've not seen before, sort of standing there. sort of like looks at you in your fine attire and seems a little surprised, but is very like polite enough, and just sort of says, "Can I be of assistance?"
Yes, I have a meeting tonight here. my name is Arya Tallithsyr. Fuck's sake.
Might I inquire who you're meeting?
I'm meeting with Jhaldrym. What's his last name?
You don't know now.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, because his surname was Vismus, but now
It
he
was
doesn't really have a
Bissimus, and
house.
now it's nothing. Wow,
Okay.
that's very sad.
It's just Jhaldrym.
Just Jhaldrym.
Jhaldrym Tallithsyr.
Oh, hold the horses there.
Yeah, don't get too far ahead of yourselves.
You lost your last name, but I can give you a new one.
Wow,
Now that's a fucking
line.
pickup line. Holy shit!
What the fuck?
That's actually fucking amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Holy
That is-
shit! Somebody quote that, please.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, fucking go for it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the yeah, she sort of she ponders that for a moment and is like, I see. Well, I expect he will be waiting for you. I presume by the way that you're here, you don't know the way.
No, I'm supposed to be meeting in the gardens, but I didn't know how to get there.
She just sort of like makes a sweeping gesture for you to follow her.
Alright, here we go.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, she leaves you standing basically in the open inside of the like the curtain wall around the manor house, where there is a beautiful sort of like covered garden, and the thing that you notice that is immediately like a bit unconventional about it is this place, unlike a regular garden which is normally like open to the elements and exposed, has areas where there are areas that are deliberately sheltered over, that seem to be growing all sorts of mushrooms and strange twisting vined plants, and a number of them display bioluminescent properties,
Oh, pretty.
which you expect are sort of standard Underdark beauty plants.
Update.
And yeah, like as it is relatively dark, but it is illuminated by these patches of bioluminescence, and your dark vision is enough to sort of be able to navigate through it without too many problems. But yeah, you get to this. There's a pavilion in the center with like 6 arched pillars that lead up to the domed center. And sitting in a small like lowered sofa seat sort of thing is Jhaldrym, who is currently writing in a book. He does not appear to have noticed you approach.
Take a deep breath. And I approach.
Okay.
That bitch.
Yeah, eventually, sort of like you get close enough that probably as you like lay foot on the wood of the pavilion, he notices the change in sound and sort of like looks up, sees you.
Why was there a nice roll? What was a nice roll about?
He's making a charisma save to completely like not fall apart upon seeing you because you're beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we'll go with
That's my
that.
guess.
That
That's my
seems
guess.
like a stretch.
Okay.
Look, that's my guess.
Yeah, he sort of looks up, sees you, smiles, and says, "Arya, you came."
Ah! Yes, I received your letter.
He puts the book down, places aside the quill on a table, stands up and sort of says, please, take a seat.
Alright, I'll go sit.
There are within the pavilion itself. There are 6 sides. 3 of them are open to the garden, and 3 of them contain seats. Which one are you sitting in?
So he's sitting on one of the benches?
He's sitting in one of the benches. So yeah, your options are sit on one of the benches opposite him or sit next to him.
Feels like a video game. Dating sim.
Yep.
Yeah. There is a timer just slowly expiring at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Or you do nothing, you just remain standing.
No,
Like,
I'll sit by him. Come on, Arya,
Okay.
be bold!
Okay, yeah. You sit on the bench next to him, and he like sits down next to you, sort of like turns to face you, sort of says, I trust you'll forgive my forwardness with that letter, but something didn't quite feel right.
Was it the handshake? No, I'm kidding. Yes, well... Yes, I felt the same. Because... I'm not the greatest with words.
That's
Or
understandable.
emotions. I have like 4 friends, okay? Just give me a break.
Do you say that out loud?
No.
Oh, come on.
I will say, I don't have many friends, and it's never been my forte. This kind of stuff.
He sort of nods and says, well, please, take your time. I promise I'll try not to be offended by anything.
Offended? Why would you be offended? No, okay. I look at him
Know
kind of
what you're
confused, and
feeling.
I'm like, offended? It's not going well.
Presume you have something more to say about what we discussed.
Well, I don't know if it's specifically about what we discussed. It's actually not at all about what we discussed.
I guess he sort of like he looks a little confused for a moment and says, well, please, either way, take your time. I wish only to hear what you have to say.
I think perhaps you may have misunderstood me when I told you that you were my friend. Not that you aren't my friend. But I was trying to say something else, and I don't know if it came across. Arya's just going in there with it.
Go for it, girl.
He sort of like leans like to the side a little bit, and so that he's like face to face, like looking opposite you, and sort of says, I understood that to mean that we had a shared bond now, that circumstance had just brought us together in ways that perhaps neither of us expected. What did you mean?
I definitely meant that as well. But I was trying to express that saying you were my friend is a big deal. To me.
I understood that, yes. I mean...
But I don't know if my whole intention came across. And I'm struggling to, even now, put it into words.
He sort of like waits for a moment.
I suppose this whole time has been quite an experience in terms of, as I said before, getting to be with drows as comrades instead of enemies is quite a different experience from anything else I've ever had in my life. And it's made me rethink a lot of things. But I am aware of the larger world, and perhaps it's why I am having so much trouble with this conversation as well. Me trying to be like, hey, you idiot, I like ya!
Yeah, he's not picking up on it.
Fuck's sake!
You've got to be
Alright,
more
come
grim.
on, Arya! You can do this!
You've got to be a little bit more grim.
I think he just like sort of like pauses for a moment, and sort of says, "Would you prefer to take a walk?"
A walk might be good. Might help me gather my thoughts a little bit.
He sort of stands up and offers you a hand.
Yep, take the hand. Come on, Arya, you can
Okay.
do it! Don't drop the hand!
Don't shake.
Yeah, you
Don't
take
shake
the
it.
hand. He helps you to his feet as much as you need help, which is not at all.
Yeah. It's just a nice gesture.
Yes, and then he sort of gestures out into the garden and says, "Well, I am still getting used to these gardens myself, but there are a number of things I think are worth taking a look at."
Rob, I didn't drop his hand, okay? We are holding hands.
Okay,
now.
you are still holding onto his hand.
Oh
I
my
am
God.
still
Okay.
holding on to his hand.
Do it.
Okay, yeah.
Do it.
There's a moment where he's like expecting you to like let go of his hand, but he doesn't drop it either.
Yes! Yes! We're getting there.
That's lewd.
Okay.
What?
Extended hand holding.
Extended hand holding.
Um,
Not
But
safe
yeah,
for work.
he sort of like begins to lead you gently.
Alright.
He takes you like past a couple of the beds of plants and things, until you reach one of the sort of the larger enclosed areas, where there is a larger like flat topped tree with no foliage but a number of large fruits hanging from it.
Okay.
And he sort of stops in front of that and like turns back to you and sort of says, "I've only ever seen trees like this grown outside of the Underdark. I've only ever travelled there a few times as a child. I never had a great deal of cause to go back there afterwards, but
To the Underdark?
yes. These...
I can't even imagine what that's like.
It is a strange place. Culture down there is very different from up here. But this is one of the things I wish existed more up here." He sort of like looks at you, and there's like a almost like a mischievous moment in his eyes, and he's like, "I shouldn't really do this, but..." And he reaches up and like takes one of the fruit off like the lower hanging branches,
Wow.
and sort of like just sticks his finger into it, and like the flesh like breaks underneath it, and there is a incredibly like perfumed smell that comes out of it. He sort of says, "Smell that."
I do. Fruit seduction.
Seduction via fruit.
He sort of like holds it up and says, "It's a fascinating scent. It's very beautiful, but you can't eat it. It's
Oh.
deadly to most organisms."
Ah. I see.
There are a number of Underdark creatures that have thrived long enough to be able to ingest it, but
Yes, we have plants like that in the Feywilds too. I'm totally bullshitting this, but I'm going to assume in the
Yeah,
Feywild there's
you
probably
are not
a
wrong.
similar phenomenon.
You are not
Yeah.
wrong.
The Feywild's full of weird bullshit like that.
Yes.
Yeah. There's definitely plants there that if you ate them you would die, but there are
There's
some
probably
creatures that
also-
thrive off their fruit.
Yeah, there's probably also a species of animal that just decided out of spite that it wanted to specifically eat only one specific type of thing, even when that one type of thing decided it really didn't want to be eaten. And wait, hang on a minute, we're back here. Never mind.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he places the fruit back in the branches in between two like places and sort of says, I had a point with this, but
All right. Fruit metaphor, let's go.
This really is fruit seduction.
I think it is, at least at a very basic level, a good reflection of my people.
How so?
Simply put, that there is a pleasantness to us. And very often that pleasantness is merely a sheen for something that exists underneath that is selfish and dark. But I think even though this sounds silly, but even though there is dangerous qualities to a thing, it can be beautiful and valuable at the same time.
Yes, I think I agree. I mean, a sword can be beautiful, but also deadly.
He looks back and like sort of like happy that you understand his metaphor, and is sort of
Yep.
like, yes,
I've seen some beautiful swords in my time, man.
yeah. He sort of says, yes, a sword is an apt comparison. I had not considered it, so
Well, in my travels and various fights, I've seen many such beautiful but deadly weapons. Some of them we own.
he sort of like chuckles and says, yes, having seen your weapon, I don't doubt that.
He's never seen me fight, which is a sad thing because
No.
we all know.
He has seen you with your weapon drawn, but he has never seen you fight.
Yeah.
We all know who he'd be looking at if he saw us fight. That's all we're saying.
Kelariis.
Oh,
Um,
rip.
I thought you were gonna say Grim for a second. I was like, yeah.
He's gay.
I mean,
oh
Kelariis,
no.
I guess Kelariis does have a giant flaming sword, so
So does Grim.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine's
Grim-
Well,
bigger.
yeah,
Grim's is a flaming sword.
Grim's is actually flaming. Kelariis just glows.
Yeah.
I like he'd just be looking at Grim out of disbelief more than anything else.
And I've got a boomstick.
Uh,
Yeah, he sort of he appreciates that you understand his metaphor and smiles and talks about your sword.
Well.
You like my sword, huh? God help me.
Focus.
I'm trying. I vent my nervousness with bad jokes. Terrible humor.
Okay, so we're acquainted.
So yeah. I guess he sort of like after like that little moment, he sort of like just stays there, like looking at you for a moment. Sort of like lifts the hand that you're still holding and sort of says, there was something you wanted to say.
Well, what I've been trying to get at this whole time is, again, hard to put into words, but I think that I worry that perhaps it's not a wise choice to say it out loud. Both because I don't know, I would not want to jeopardize our friendship, but also because I realize there is a world out there that might frown on what I'm about to just say.
I think, like, there's a pause. There's a pause. He sort of, like, looks at you, then pointedly gestures at the garden and says, "There's no one else here."
There is no one else here, thankfully. But I cannot forget the real world either. And I worry about that. Because the feelings I have for you go beyond friendship. I did it.
She fucking did it.
I fucking did it!
This is one of those moments where they'd be like, if this was some sort of rom-com, they'd be, like, we'd be listening in, and like
Wait,
back at the room,
let's
we'd
wait
just
for
go,
the
"She did it.
response."
Yeah.
She did it."
Yeah, so I think he sort of he pauses, like, still sort of like with the hand that you're both holding sort of like raised in the air, and like places his hand like over your hand so that he's got your hand encased in both. And he just sort of says, "I understand your trepidation. I know the wider world might struggle to understand, but since I have met you, I too have to admit an infatuation."
Yes!
You did it.
Arya looks relieved at that. She looked quite nervous previously.
Mhm.
Well, that's good.
he
I
sort
don't
of
know!
he chuckles and says, "Yes, I think it is good."
I'm glad he finds me endearing, because I am a mess.
Oh.
I think wow.
Wow.
I think he just sort of he chuckles to himself like a moment after that, and then just says, "You know, I spent at least the last day or so thinking this whole thing over in my head, and wondering if you are having second thoughts about our friendship."
No. I was never having second thoughts about that. Whatever else happens, you are my friend. And I don't say that lightly.
No, I feel that.
But it will be hard to explain to the others. Not my team here. I think they would understand. But the other elves.
He sort of nods slowly and says, "Yes."
So let's just not do that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I guess he sort of like he takes the hand off your other hand, sort of like lets it like swing to the side, doesn't let go with the other hand, but just sort of says, I don't even know where to go from here.
I have some ideas. I'm kidding. I don't say that. Yes, it's definitely. I don't even know if what we are supposed to do. I don't even know if there's ever been a drow and an elf together in that way in history. All the stories I've ever been told were not kind.
And the same for me. Though I did learn to question them.
Same. I also understand that in a few days we will be leaving for I don't know how long. It's not great timing. And
No.
you have your business here to attend to. But I think it would be a mistake if I left before we had this conversation.
And I am eternally grateful that you did not. I will admit it must have taken a great deal of courage to come here and say what you said. And I do not know whether I would have had the courage to do the same.
Well, I have some very good friends who made sure that I did not falter in that regard.
Then it seems I am in debt to your friends again.
Cries. Kelariis
Arya.
Yes!
Might I suggest something totally selfish?
Yes?
What if, perhaps just for this evening, we forget about the weight of what the world might think and take some time for ourselves? See where it goes.
I think I would like that. Yes!
Little interior fistbump moment.
Yeah, I think he leads you back to the pavilion and.
Oh, he's not gonna kiss me? Come on!
Hey, don't.
Well,
Don't
he
jump
he
the
he leads you
guns.
back to the pavilion, and the two of you sit next to each other.
Okay.
Like, come on, there's still a chance.
Grab his face and press it against yours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smash our faces together. No.
Yeah. I guess at this point the pertinent thing would be to say, give me an insight check.
Oh, an insight check.
Yes.
What's he thinking?
Come on, insight. Don't fail me now. Oh, it's not good.
Okay.
Damn it.
So yeah, it's you are still like holding hands, but it's kind of sort of gradually become a vice grip, and you can't tell if it's him shaking or if it's you shaking or if it's both of you.
Probably both. Well, I'd hope it's both. It's at least me.
Yeah, and he sort of like sits in the pavilion and so says, well, I suppose the first thing we should do is get to know each other.
Yes, that would be very nice. I don't even know your last name. I mean, I knew it once before, but obviously.
I don't suppose I technically have one anymore.
Then you should choose one. Something that means something to you.
I think I will have to put some thought into that.
Yes, I don't think it's a decision you should come to lightly, but I think it's an opportunity for you to decide your fate outside of the house.
A new name, new lease on life. I think I like that idea.
Did you happen to give any thought to our conversations before about what we talked about?
I have thought on it some. And hesitant as I am, I think you are right.
Political revolution!
Smash the system!
It will take time, and I'm not sure that, at least at first, it will be well received. But
Well, for what it's worth, when we were gathering our payment today, it seems there are quite a few people at your house that were very upset by what happened, and many have decided to resign because of it. I think there's more sympathy for your plight than you might even realize.
people are leaving the house.
They are. In protest over what happened. They don't agree with it either.
That is not what I expected.
Like I said before, I think that there's more support for your endeavors than you would believe.
Well, even if there is not, I think I at least owe it to people to try. But that isn't enough about me. I want to know about you. I want to know.
Well, you already unlocked my tragic backstory. Kidding.
I want to know where you come from. What is the tale that makes you you?
Well, I was born and raised in the Feywilds by my family. And when I came of age, I decided to join the Wild Hunt because I wanted to be a ranger. And for a time, I learned and I grew. I had a friend there who was very dear to me, but we were young and stupid, and we thought that we were stronger than we were. And so when a dangerous monster was spotted nearby, we decided to go hunt it. It didn't end well. I was alive, but he did not make it.
I'm sorry.
It's not easy to think about even now, but after that I left and just wandered for years in the wilds, and I decided that I would hunt that creature down and end it for what it did. I didn't know how long it would take, or how I would even find it, or if I could even defeat it if I could. It was the only thing I knew to do. But eventually I found, sort of by accident, this group, and we joined forces. And slowly I came to see that there was so much more to life than just vengeance. Even though I had let it consume me for so long. But we did eventually find that monster, and we killed it. And I was able to have one last conversation with my friend. And it brought closure. Perhaps in a way that I didn't even expect. And so now I travel with the Amber Eagle, and I try to stop monsters. Whether they be real or only in name.
That is a noble cause.
Perhaps, but
I'm sorry it took you... It took what it did to drive you to it. That is a fate no one should have to bear.
It was not easy. And even now, I still wonder if there was something I could have done that would have saved him, but I think that at the end of the day, he would want me to forgive myself, and I think I paid enough pittance in those years alone. But I don't know if my goals are all. For instance, I'm being very selfish right now.
He sort of squeezes your hand as a show of support. Sort of says, "No, I asked the question." I know this isn't easy. I didn't expect it to be easy, but
Did you always grow up in your house?
I was born into it, mostly. My mother was Visimus, though my father was houseless.
Yes, you said that before.
It did not, it was not considered a positive time for the house. And I never really, truly met my father until I was at least 60.
That must have been hard.
I had other figures in the house who took his place, though none of it was quite the same. They raised me as one of their own, and I was treated as if I was full-blood Visimus, and I suppose in its own way that was compassion.
I don't know how much compassion there is in keeping a child from his father.
No, that is the part that is difficult to reconcile. I understand, at least in part, why they did what they did, but I grew up with Visimus values, and when I was young I wanted to be nothing more than a shining beacon for what they stood for, order and security. And after a while I've working on the streets, I began to realize that that was a vision for some and not for others. That did not sit well with me.
I can imagine. When I finally returned to my family, I learned that I had a brother, which was an odd experience. But I was glad to see that they were happy, even though I had been gone for so long.
I think my mother came to new happiness in time. Though I often wonder what would have been different.
You cannot answer this if it's too much, but I wonder how your father and mother met if the houses are so isolated from the houseless.
I will admit I don't know at least the full story of it. I know only the version that my mother deemed to tell. But from my understanding, he came to the surface from the Underdark for refuge. What from, I do not know, but he came seeking help, and Visimus was prepared to give it to him at the time. Presumably he had something that they wanted. I think somewhere in that exchange was where they met.
I see.
I think they knew each other in periphery for some time, but the story my mother always told was that the two of them boarded a carriage together, travelling but a short distance somewhere outside of the city, and they got to talking, and one thing led to another. He sort of like looks at you, looks back at you, and sort of says, "I do find myself wondering what she would think if she were here now."
Yes, well, I wonder the same about my parents, but I'm lucky enough that they're still alive. I would hope that your mother would at least give me a chance.
I'd like to think she would.
I hope so.
I think he stays like looking at your face for a moment, and then just sort of says, "Again, you don't have to answer this, but I'm curious. Do all of your kin bear the same?" And he sort of like gestures up towards your face. War marks.
No, that's... I don't know if we've ever gone into why Arya wears this on her face, out of character.
I think it's just it's definitely a stylistic choice. It is a like.
I mean, I have a reason, but I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah,
before I just,
yeah. We haven't established it, so if you want to go ahead and establish that, go
Okay.
for it.
No, not all of the Eladrin wear this on their face, but it's specific to my family. All of my family wear it. We used to be a much larger clan before, it slowly whittled itself down, but back in the days when I guess you would say we were a little more wild, this was a marking that could be used to identify each other, and it just carried on. So it's my way of remembering them, even though I'm gone.
He smiles at that and sort of says, "That is beautiful. Tiny fragment of your history."
Yes, it's nice to think that my brother, when he was born, was also given it, and even though he doesn't really know me that well, even if he sees me, he'll understand that we're family.
It suits you.
Thanks, it brings out my eyes. No, I'm kidding. Arya does look a little bit shy about that, because people don't give her compliments very often.
He smiles and sort of says, "It makes you come across fierce, but that is not necessarily a bad thing."
Well, considering my chosen profession, I think fierce would be a good thing. But of course, it needs to have balance.
He nods. I think that is perhaps one of the reasons I find you quite so compelling.
Oh, he finds me compelling. Well, my goodness. Sorry. I'm sorry for my terrible humor.
God. This is great.
Yes, well, I mean, you take good care of yourself. For fuck's sake.
It looks sort of like a little stunned and says, "Thank you."
I mean, your clothing is quite nice.
Yours too. I recognize the work.
Compliment. What? Sorry?
He says yours too. I recognize the work.
Oh, yes, we had them made. As it turns out, traveling clothes are perhaps not adequate for all occasions. And, well, we had given that poor tailor some grief previously, so we thought it might be might go a little ways to smoothing over some.
He sort of like smiles and chuckles and says, "Yes, I." It's not an easy business. Being the law.
I would not go that far. We are definitely not the law.
No, but you acted under my instruction.
Yes. It's definitely hard to balance.
I think he takes a moment and just sort of like leans back in the seat. And just sort of like bends his neck backwards over the edge of the seat so that he's looking out and upwards at the sky. And he just sort of like, you didn't realize it at the time, but it's like he must have been like at least holding his breath for a short time, because he like lets out quite like a deep exhale. Just says, "I will be honest with you. Normally conversation comes easy to me.
cannot relate.
But with you, it feels like every word is like a mountain I must scale.
I know the feeling. But I would hope in time that it becomes easier. Even though we are going to leave soon, I would like to ask if I could still write you sometimes.
He like sits up straight and says, "I would love that."
And maybe then it will be easier to talk. Even if it's just through words or letters.
He sort of nods and says, "I will have to forget my formal tone. I'm less used to writing letters to friends."
Well, I very rarely write letters myself to friends, so we'll learn together.
In that case, I feel even more honored.
My other friend that I write letters to hates your guts.
Or
Ah!
at least might. Very likely will.
Very likely. That's going to be a bridge we're going to cross eventually, but we're not there yet.
The drow totally tried to kill her at one point, but that's
Yes!
fine.
Ooh.
They probably didn't even like her before that.
No.
Anyway.
All right, Arya. Get that courage. I would like to try something, if you're okay with it.
Sort of like looks at you curiously.
I will confess, I have never done this before. I'm not gonna put the caveat that there was someone dead. But I would like to try.
Okay.
Alright. I would like to place my hand on his face.
Okay. He accepts it.
Alright, great. Good first step.
Start.
Good start.
Baby steps, Arya. Baby steps.
Baby steps. And I'm gonna say, please stop me if you don't want to do this. And I'm gonna kiss him!
Okay.
Yes!
Do it.
We did it!
You
Well,
kiss him.
he still has an opportunity to stop you.
Well, no.
Well,
No, you just confirmed it. You kiss him.
Oh, good.
In the process of doing so, like he ends up with a hand on the side of your face as well.
oh, how very sweet.
And this, yeah, he sort of like leans back. I think he like sort of like as you sort of like finish it, like you lean back and he sort of says, "Not bad for a first attempt."
First attempt. Well, I'm glad. It was also great. For me.
We could practice some more if you'd like.
Smooth. Very
Classic.
smooth, Jhaldrym. Well done.
I would like that. Kiss the drow boy!
Yeah, I think with that, he takes the initiative and like leans over you and kisses you.
Oh my goodness. Make out scenes.
Yep.
Hell yeah. I did it. I finally did it, guys. Are
Okay.
you proud?
You're making out with the drow in a garden.
So yeah, I guess
Luminescently lit.
at this point, my question is: do you feel like there's any more dialogue scenes that you want to RP out, or do you want to just sort of like leave it there with you spend the rest of the evening doing similar? It's up to you.
I have.
Small talk and making out.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's up to you. If there's something else you
No.
want to do.
Well, there is one thing.
Okay.
But I don't know how much dialogue it requires.
Okay. Well, let's try it and see.
The science.
When are we leaving town?
You have not decided.
I think we said 2 weeks or so, like 1 or 2 weeks. I can't remember, unless something came up. I think we said a week because that was how long it will probably take for things to settle down.
So we're not leaving like tomorrow, or
No.
are we?
Well, you've been here for 3 days now, so you're 3 out of 7.
Okay, then never mind.
You're
Oh.
not gonna bang him.
Not yet.
Wow. On the last day.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that scene ends. The rest of you have been enjoying a wonderful evening, partying. Is there anything that you would like to specifically do while you party, or just in general?
I guess there's nothing too specific.
I mean,
No.
yeah, aside from wanting to stay long enough that Elizabeth can have a bit of a dance and just basically try not to fall on her face.
Yep.
Nothing else.
Cool. Yeah, so that happens. Kelariis joins you, and like probably after like maybe like the second hour that you're in this bar, like drinking and dancing, she's like looking a little bit uncomfortable. And yeah, she's had like 1 beer and that's it.
Yeah.
She's just like drinking water or whatever.
I was gonna say, if she looks uncomfortable, we're just like Elizabeth's gonna be like, you don't have to stay, you know. If you want to leave early, that's fine.
I think she just sort of like thinks for a moment. She's like, no, it's fine. I'll be fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm just not used to this.
Yeah, fair. To be honest, I don't usually do this much either. I just wanted to try.
That's fair. And I think then she sort of like gets over it a little bit, like gets up, has a little dance, sits back down.
Yay.
Yeah, and then I guess the late evening rolls around. The 3 of you return to the rooms. Arya, I presume you return as well eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, who gets home first? That's the real question.
I'm gonna wager probably you guys,
Yeah.
because yeah, Arya only needs to sleep for like 4 hours, so
True.
she can roll in at 2 in the morning and still be up before the rest of you.
Yeah, true.
She has a couple of months worth of kissing she needs to catch up for.
To be fair, though, needing 8 hours of sleep is not going to stop Elizabeth from staying there till after midnight.
Yeah, that's fine. You're on holiday.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I guess when Arya gets back, if everyone's still awake.
probably
she's
not.
gonna- Ah. That's fine. I'll wait till the morning then.
Benefit of everybody having their own rooms.
Yeah.
Can actually do something in secret for once.
Yeah, so I guess the next morning comes around. Eventually you all make it downstairs.
I mean, as soon as Elizabeth sees Arya, she's gonna be like, "Morning, Arya." Did you have a nice night?
I imagine Arya flushes a little bit at that, which is unusual.
Mm.
And she's just like, yeah, it was good. How did your guys' night go?
It was good fun.
I made back in one piece.
Kelariis still nods like, yeah, it was a pleasant distraction.
We were all still standing, and no one was incomprehensible in their words. But from the look of you, you had the more interesting night.
I don't think we need to know all about that.
We don't need to, but that doesn't mean I don't want to. You don't.
Arya's
have
gonna
to
play
say.
dumb.
You don't have to say, of course, but like, you know.
I mean, you don't have to say if you don't want. Well, I guess the sacrifice would be you nagging the entire time, wouldn't it?
Well, I'd definitely be asking questions quite a lot because I'm really curious as to what's getting you to react in the way you're reacting.
Or we could let people have private business.
I love you, Kelariis.
Well, that's why I'm saying that if you know, if you don't want me asking questions, don't ask. Then you know,
just leave it for now. She'll talk when she talks.
Elizabeth shuts up, but she's clearly not happy about it.
Kelariis shoots you a look eye that just says, "You good?"
I give her a little nod back. Bro nod, if some would
Yep.
say.
Okay, yeah,
Bro
the
nod.
bro nod is reciprocated.
Elizabeth's gonna sit there like she clearly wants to keep poking, but she's been told not to. It's basically exactly the same as when you tell a child not to do a thing, but they really want to do the thing, so they just stand there with really awkwardly with their arms by their side, like.
I can't believe. I just, gave Elizabeth a compliment on her behavior, and now this. It's too much.
You've got to remember, compared to you guys, she is a child. Despite being
She's quite young.
Despite being technically older in years than Kelariis, I think.
Yep.
Despite being technically older in years, she hasn't left the house until, well, she met you guys.
Okay. Well, I think for fear of getting too far ahead with people's story, I think that's a good spot to leave it.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, unless anyone has anything else they want to chip in, I think we will call it.
What a session.
Yeah.
Elizabeth might try and sell another scroll, but that can probably be dealt with out of character.
Yeah, we can
Don't need to
deal
make
with
a
that
scene out of it.
another time. Can deal with that between sessions.
Yeah. Because I don't know what I'm going to do with Phantom Steed.
Well, actually, do you know the spell?
I don't have it in my book, but I also don't really think I'd have any use for it whatsoever. So I'd rather invest the 150 gold and 6 hours of work in a spell I'd actually use in my spellbook.
Q next session. If only we had Phantom Steed.
If only we had
If only
additional
we had.
horses.
Well, to be fair, if only we had additional horses, Phantom Steed only lasts like 10 minutes.
That is true.
Sorry, an hour. It's not very long.
Oh, that is kind of shitty.
Yeah, it literally lasts an hour.
Yeah,
Well, isn't it designed to be continuously ritual cast though? That's
Probably.
basically why you have it.
It is a ritual.
Oh, so you could cast it any time. Actually, in that case, it might not be the worst. Well, that one time that we need to drag a massive object with us, it's nice to have an extra horse.
Or move at twice your movement speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see uses, but I'd rather have something else.
That's fair.
See, the thing is, what I'm trying to say, I don't think you have to choose. I think you can have it all. You can have all the power.
I have the power.
I mean, yeah, being a wizard capable of casting 9th level spells, your restriction is literally just time.
Yeah.
I'll end up casting Phantom Steed as Wish. It's fine.
Yeah.
So if you're casting Phantom Steed with a Wish, that's entirely your own fault. I will not accept any responsibility for that.
If I do, I at the very least hope it's one for each of us.
Yeah.
See,
And
yeah,
even that would be a poor use.
Or a version of Phantom Steed where it just lasts longer. Also, in that case, you can cast
did you
any spell.
mean
Just cast-
find greater steed?
Yeah, just cast Kelariis' version. Phantom Steed is a shit version of Kelariis' Steed spells.
No, Phantom Steed is a wizard version of the Find Steed spells.
Oh yeah, but it's also like not as good.
That's the only
yeah,
options
but the investment is significantly less.
Yeah.
I guess.
But yes. So, when all's said and done, all that's left is to thank you all for playing, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.